And look at that, Iowa State gets knocked off by Texas. I believe they were the #1 team in the country last week. I believe we went over that. They were at least top 3, and now Texas moves to #3. Iowa State drops down to 6. And then Indiana, who absolutely throttled us, got beat by Penn State. So obviously, back-to-back losses. Indiana, they beat us pretty bad. We made it look closer than it really was. But then Illinois, we couldn't even make it look closer. They just absolutely kicked our ass top to bottom, just through and through. I mean, we couldn't do anything against Illinois of all teams. And because of that, I've gone ahead and I've implemented the playbook that I was going to implement next season. I was going to keep it a bit realistic and, stick the whole season out with the one playbook that we already had because, it's kind of unrealistic to just switch playbooks mid-season, or very unrealistic to do that, but I don't really care about that anymore. We're just throwing on the spread option playbook that we are going to be going with here for the rest of this season and potentially next season as well, depending on how it goes. So rather than having a lot of flexbone type stuff like there was in the other one, there's a lot of shotgun and pistol type stuff in this one. This is basically very similar to the Coastal Carolina playbook that's in the game, because if you actually choose the Coastal Carolina playbook, there's it's not quite spread option, but if you play as Coastal Carolina, there's a custom playbook called spread option that you can't even pick when you're scrolling through the playbooks, but it's called spread option. So we got everything from empty spread, F twins over, normal, we got a bunch of split sets, we got some spread sets, some trios, some trips, twin tight end even, some wing trips, Y trips, and then over in the pistol we got full house, strong slot, train, and wing offset. And to go along with this new playbook change, Adrian Martinez is being benched for the freshman redshirt and Logan Smothers. He is now QB1 from this point forward. We'll see how long that lasts, but at least in this Purdue game, Logan Smothers is getting the start. So now on to recruiting for the week. Joe Walker has locked us out. He's obviously interested in us, but he's not as interested in us as he is Wisconsin and Missouri. He's locked us out, and I don't have the ability to unlock him, so we're just going to remove him from the list. We got Benjamin Cleveland here, a 4-star DN from Nebraska, who I just scouted, and he is quite good. Pretty good power moves, block shedding, lots of good tackling, pretty average across the board, but 74 as an incoming freshman. That is pretty solid, so we're going to offer him a scholarship and also put some more points into him. We also just scouted this Joe Hayes, who's an athlete. He's a 77 overall. He is a gem, 92 speed, insane throw accuracy, elusiveness. He could be a corner for us. He could be a safety. Not probably not a safety, but a tackle. He could be a corner, a quarterback. He could do a bunch of different things, as you would think with an athlete. He's actually from Hawaii, and he wants to come here as a JUCO, so we're going to be offering him a scholarship as well, and putting more points into him. And then with the rest of our points this week, we're going to offer 2 more scholarships here. Thomas Justice, who we're in the lead for. He's a 4-star run-blocking guard. We're going to give him a scholarship here. And then we're also going to offer a scholarship here to the 4-star run-blocking center, Evan Gonzalez, who we're trying to go after. And just taking a little bit of a preview here of the Purdue game, it looks like we're actually favored with most of the per game and actual stat numbers, but they do have the better overall team than us. One thing worth noting about them is they are actually missing their big power back, who is their #1 running back, Xander Horvath here, 58 attempts, 262 yards. He's their best overall running back, I believe he's the best overall running back, and he's out for 10 weeks, I want to say, something like that. But obviously the real threat of this team is their receiving game. David Bell, going to be a top pick in the draft this year, probably. And then these other guys are no slouches either. Milton Wright III, 84 overall. He's got 3 touchdowns. And then you got Payne Durham, their tight end, who's an 84 overall as well. Well, on the defensive side of the ball, this guy is definitely their best player. Sophomore pass rusher George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis III. 40 tackles on the year, 9 for loss, 3.5 sacks. He's a 94 overall. The Cornhuskers have now lost 2 games in a row and are looking to get things back on track in the right direction as they now travel to West Lafayette, Indiana to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. We'll start things off here on offense with the Purdue Boilermakers. Jack Plummer, empty backfield, spread set. All the time in the world as he's able to find his go-to man, David Bell. Did not take long to get the ball to Bell. So they move the chains. Another set of downs. Play action. Plummer, this time taken off himself. He's going to pick up about 9 yards on the ground. Sets up a 2nd and 1 for Purdue. It's a handoff to King Daru. He picks up a 1st down, and he crosses into Nebraska territory. So once again, in the shotgun, Plummer pitches to Daru. He trucks a man over, picks up 9 on the ground. 2nd and 1, they would convert. Now it's 1st and 10. It's Wright the third, Milton Wright the third, picking up a 1st down in the receiving game. So now inside the red zone, Plummer swings it out to Daru, stiff arms JoJo Dahmen, and he is tackled finally right at the goal line. So 1st and goal upcoming. Plummer, he's going to keep this one himself on the option and just run it in to the end zone as Purdue strikes first. In this one, it's now a 7-0 lead for the Boilermakers. Nebraska on offense now. Logan Smothers under center. It's Ramir Johnson kicking it out to the right side, and he's going to be dragged down by a face mask. So that's going to be some extra yards on top of that for the Cornhuskers offense. So later on in the drive, they're at about midfield. Smothers in the shotgun, handoff Ramir Johnson. He's going to pick up a few yards in the run gain, about 7, sets up a 2nd and 3 here for the Huskers offense. So once again in the shotgun, Smothers handoff Gabe Irvin Jr., and that's going to be a missed face mask. So 3rd and inches coming up here. Smothers running the triple option, pitches it to Ramir Johnson. He sheds a tackler, and he's got nothing but green in front of him. He's at the 10-5, and in the end zone, 43 yards to the house for the Paramus, New Jersey native Ramir Johnson. And this game is tied. 4 minutes left in the first quarter now. Jack Plummer floats one out in the flats for Milton Wright. He picks up the 1st down. So they move the chains as Purdue is going to start getting things going on offense here. Plummer in the shotgun. He finds Milton Wright the third again. That's already multiple catches on the day for him and another 1st down conversion. They're at about midfield. Plummer floats one into the flat again. This time it's Anthrop. Jackson Anthrop converts the 1st down. Now a handoff to King Daru. He picks up the 1st down in the run game as they just keep moving and moving those chains. They're now down to about the 30-yard line. Plummer fires, finds Rice. They're now inside the 10. 2nd and goal a few plays later. Once again, running the option. Plummer keeps it, and he gets into the end zone. And it looks like we might have ourselves a shootout in this one, as these teams are going tit for tat so far, as Purdue makes it 14-7. A minute left in the first quarter. Smothers in the shotgun, rolling out to his right, cannot get away from the pressure as he is sacked. 4th and 23. Purdue gets the ball back. So they're at about midfield here. Plummer handoff Daru, sheds a tackler, sheds another one, gets finally tripped up, but not before picking up 14 on the ground and the 1st down. So now Daru in the Wildcat. He's going to drop back and look for a pass as nobody's going to be able to get to him, but JoJo Dahmen just barely misses a pick there, bounces off his hands. So instead it's 3rd and 4. Plummer back under center. He's going to swing it out to the flats, and just short of the 1st down marker, it's 4th and 1 now for Purdue, and they are going to settle for the field goal. So it's a 17-7 lead, 10-point lead for the Boilermakers. Here now in the second quarter, Smothers and the Huskers back on offense. Handoff from Ramir Johnson. He's going to pick up about 9 yards, set up a 3rd and 1 for the Cornhuskers. Once again, another handoff from Ramir Johnson. He picks up the 1st down as they're just feeding their go-to man here in Johnson, now in a pistol full house. It's the triple option. Smothers pitches to Johnson, trucks over a man, and they keep going to Ramir Johnson. He keeps getting them 1st down. So they're at about midfield here. Play action. Smothers rolling out to his right, looking for somebody to be open. He takes off on his own and gets 8 yards in the run game before sliding. So 2nd and 2. Johnson now in motion. He gets the handoff, and the first down. Moving the chains with Rahmir Johnson. That's the theme of this drive. 2nd and 7 a few plays later. Play action. Smothers fires, finds Austin Allen, all 6'9" of him, inside the 20-yard line as the Huskers are now in the red zone with 3:55 left in the half. Smothers keeping this on the read option, gets 10 yards, sets up a 1st and goal. Very next play, Gabe Irvin Jr. in motion. He gets the handoff. Out of the Wildcat, it's Rahmir Johnson going against the grain of the play on the screen, and Gabe Irvin Jr. has himself a touchdown pass. Take a look at this nifty little play call. Irvin to Johnson, the two running backs hooking up, and Johnson gets into the end zone to make it a 17-14 ball game. So 3:33 left in the half. Plummer once again running the option. He sheds a tackler, picks up the first down. He's got a ton of green in front of him, and he is finally dragged down inside Nebraska territory to about the 40-yard line. Now Doru under center again, direct snap to him. He stopped short. It's 4th and inches upcoming for Purdue. This time they decide to go for it. Plummer in the shotgun. Here comes the rush, and he manages to dump it off to Doru for 4 yards and enough for the first down. Next set of downs, it's 3rd and 2, and this time it's going to be a fumble on the pitch as Doru is laid out, and that's going to be a huge loss of yards. So 4th and 8, Purdue settles for a field goal to make it 20-14, as it's now back to being a 7-point game, or a 6-point game rather, as it's 1:22 left in the half now. Smothers pitches to Oliver Martin, who came out in the QB slot option, and he's going to pick up 21 yards on the ground into Purdue territory. Smothers just barely getting the pass off to avoid the sack, so 4th and 7. They're going to have to punt away. 3rd and 10 now for Purdue on offense. Plummer empty backfield, picking up a block, throwing this one up, and that's going to be picked off by JoJo Dahman. He's not going to be able to return this all the way, though, and they're not going to be able to get anything going on offense either, so that will take things into halftime. It's now a 20-14 lead, but does Nebraska have the momentum after that INT from JoJo Dahman? Could Uncle Mo be calling? Logan Smothers and the offense here, 1st and 10. For whatever reason, he pump fakes there and doesn't throw it away, so a huge sack and nothing going on that drive as well. So they would have to punt it back to Purdue, and Plummer picks up the first down on the option here as he keeps. 5:18 left in the quarter. Plummer in the shotgun. He's going to fire down the streaking sideline. It's David Bell, and he's into the end zone. It was only a matter of time until David Bell scored, and there you have it. 27-14 is the score. Cornhuskers back on offense. Gabe Irvin Jr. picks up the first down on the ground as he gets a handoff. 3rd and 12, a little later in the drive. They're at about midfield. Smothers, he hooks up with Austin Allen. He sheds a tackler. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10, and he's going to be wrapped up at the 5-yard line. So they're now in the set of down for and goals, and it's going to be a drop-off to Rahmir Johnson here on 3rd and goal, and he is stopped short of the end zone, but they're going to go for it. So Martinez checks in here as Smothers was hurt just for a couple plays, but they are able to punch it in for a score, as it's now going to be a 27-21 game. So back to being a 6-point game. Late in the 3rd quarter here, Plummer, pocket collapsing, dumps it off to Sheffield, and he finds himself a first down, 11 yards through the receiving game. Still 3rd quarter, man in motion, handoff Downing, the backup running back. He gets 9 on the ground. So 2nd and 1 now for the Purdue offense. Play action Doru. It's a dump off to Anthrop over the middle. He's going to find himself a first down. So they move the chains. We're now into the 4th quarter. 7 minutes left in the quarter. Plummer over the middle. Pass broken up, and it's now a 4th and 6. Nebraska's going to get the ball back on offense. So Smothers back in at QB. It's going to be a read option. He keeps it himself. He's got a seam up the middle, and he's finally tripped up. If that guy wasn't able to trip him up, he was gone to the house. So now Smothers at about midfield, rolling out to his right, fires to the sidelines, finds Xavier Betts, who keeps his feet in bounds and moves the chains. Smothers, handoff Rahmir Johnson. He on a little counter play picks up the first down as Rahmir Johnson continues to have a solid day on the ground. Johnson in motion. Play action. Smothers swings out to Belt. He pushes a man over and then stumbles down to about the 2-yard line as Brody Belt gets his team set up for a 1st and goal. Another read option here as Smothers keeps it and runs into the end zone. Logan Smothers is going to give them a tie game here. The extra point makes it a 1-point lead. So Nebraska has their first lead of the game here as Purdue takes over on offense. And King Doru gets the handoff and picks up the 1st down. So 3:42 left in the quarter. Plummer, empty backfield. Here comes the rush, and it's going to get to Plummer as that's Ty Robinson, the sophomore DN, drags him down for his first sack of the game, first tackle of the game. So 3rd and 15 now. Plummer finds David Bell, somehow was left open, and he's going to pick up the 1st down as Nebraska cannot stop them on 3rd down. So Purdue now at about midfield. It's a screen to King Doru. He stiff arms Garrett Nelson, picks up the 1st down, gets dragged down at about the 25. 2nd and 4, a few plays later. Plummer, here comes the pressure, and it's Ty Robinson again for his 2nd sack of the game, forces a 3rd and 12. Now for the Purdue offense, Plummer gets the snap. He's scanning the field, going down to the end zone, and he's got Milton Wright III for a touchdown, as they could not stop them on either chance they got on 3rd down as Purdue scores. And they're going to be going for 2 here as well. So Plummer looking for a man open, but he's going to be sacked by Ben Still. So they're going to be kicking it off here. Minute 57 left. Brody Belt trying to take this one out of the end zone, get some extra yards. Instead, he's going to be popped and fumbles, and Purdue recovers. So Nebraska's offense doesn't even get a chance to go down and score a game-winning drive. Instead, Purdue gets the ball back in phenomenal field position, and Milton Wright III gets another touchdown on the day as this Jack Plummer-led offense does get the job done, and Nebraska loses just on an absolutely brutal fumble from Brody Belt on the kickoff. So that means the Cornhuskers have now lost 3 straight games at Indiana versus Illinois and now here at Purdue. It's hard to beat a team when you allow them to move the ball for 443 yards of total offense, 290 through the air, 153 on the ground. Even with Ramir Johnson getting 17 carries for 130 yards on the day, it just was not enough to beat this Purdue offense. So now on a 3-game losing streak, the Nebraska Cornhuskers look forward to next week, which will be a bye, but then in week 9, they will be taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers at Minnesota. So the 3-3 Golden Gophers, not sure if they'll still be 3-3 because they might have a game in week 8, but that really doesn't matter. What matters is that is who is up next on the schedule, and Nebraska is going to try to right the ship there. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Nebraska Cornhuskers Dynasty. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I am saying goodbye.